Not only that, she also came out and contested in the recent election, that is in 2023, though she lost in the House of Assembly, that is in Kaduna State. But because of her courage, her resilience, many women with or without disabilities came out and see the need that yes, since this woman can contest, we too, we can. So I want to tell everyone that think we don't have the capacity. We do. We have lawyers as women with disabilities that are into different professions. Just like I've said, we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have CEOs of organizations that employ even those without disabilities, So what is it that we cannot do? I want everyone to remove this perception out of their mindset and give us the chance.
Very interesting. You just mentioned that Lois Alta, participated in the elections and contested for positions. But then you hear people also say stuff like, "Oh, they're not many of them that come out." So and sometimes they don't support themselves. You hear people say, "Oh, women don't support themselves in politics. The male folks do, and that's why they have more of this." Is there any truth to such assertions?
The reason why most women with disabilities don't come out is because of the discrimination. But once the discrimination is being taken out of the system, you will see more women coming out. There should be a kind of accessibility. There should be a kind of level ground, equal rights and opportunities for us. Because some women with disabilities think that if I come out now, the male folks will look down on me, or sometimes the political parties are not accessible. There is no ramp for them to access the buildings, and sometimes the nomination forms are too high, the price, too expensive, that they cannot afford. So when all those barriers, those barriers, those limitations are being removed, you will see us on the political terrain. We have so many people that are ever ready to come out and contest and vie for political positions, but because of the barriers, these are the limiting factors.
No, but perhaps persons with disabilities and even women with disabilities can form pressure groups, and if they can't form political parties, maybe have your own political parties. Is there any consideration in that direction to say, let's form our political parties, let's continue to mount pressure as opposition or something, contest elections on our own and be able to field our own candidates in the elections?
Yeah, interestingly enough, we have over 30 million persons with disabilities.
That's a large number.
That's a large number.
If you contest elections with 30 million people, you're sure to win something.
Sure. So yes, quite all right. We have this idea. We have this. We have the plan, and by God's grace, we will come out with a political party. If inclusion is not done, if this perception, this discrimination keeps going on, we are going to form our own political parties, and we will surely win.
Interesting. I'm liking the way that this conversation is going, because every time we come out of an election cycle, it seems like the persons with disability have to fight and make noise and shout before they are considered. At this point, have you has there been any engagement with government, especially at the federal level, to say, look, we need this representation? There was an SSA for disability matters in the last administration. Do we have any of such now? Do we also have people who are naturally just going to represent the persons with disability community, most importantly even women at this point? Because I don't know that we've had at least an SSA, a female SSA, to the president on disability matters. Is that something that you're pushing, that you're looking to achieve in this administration?
Yes, thank you so much for this question. Last month we had a media engagement. We did a press conference. We did a media engagement or media campaign being organized by Cedar Seed Foundation with the support of Policy and Legal Advocacy Center and Makato Foundation. And this press conference seeks to address the underrepresentation. Just like you have asked, no woman with disability has ever been appointed as the SSA to the president or to any ministry in Nigeria. So these are the things that we advocated for during the press conference and the media engagement. And by the grace of God, after the engagement, we had a call from high-level officers in the country asking us to give names of people that we think they are capable, and we have done that. So we want to say that yes, the advocacy is taking us somewhere. Our voices are being loud enough for government to hear us. We are making progress.
Let's see that you're able to make that progress and achieve the goal. At the end of the day, the community of persons with disability should not have to, always advocate and raise their voices and campaign before they are heard in a community or in a state like Nigeria. What's the future for women with disabilities? When it comes to, we're looking at in Nigeria at one day that would have a female president. Are there aspirations in that direction, especially now that you have to campaign to get positions in government or to be represented in government, to have a voice in government? That's what it means, because if there's nobody who speaks for you, then your matters will not be taken care of. This is what you're looking for. Perhaps you need to get to the point where you actually have a person with disability, or maybe a woman with disability, sitting in the office of the president and also paying attention to issues of persons with disability. Are there any group of people in amongst you who are maybe aspiring to the highest office in the land? That should be the future, shouldn't it?
Yes, we have women with disabilities who contested in the last election, and I want to believe that more are still coming up, because if we do not participate, if we are not at the table, nobody is going to do anything for us, because we have this slogan that nothing about us without us. So I would like to say that we have so many women that are ever ready to contest, to be included, to be brought up to the table. And this project that we are into, that's disability inclusion in governance, we are going to do a capacity building training for women with disabilities. We're going to take them to open their eyes, a kind of eye opener, a kind of training, a kind of for them to know that yes, they have the potentials. And we believe that after this capacity building training, more women are going to come out and contest for positions.
Very interesting. So in this situation where it seems like every time there's an election, that's when the people in government, politicians, remember persons with disabilities. They want to have them on their side to garner their votes and all. But after elections, they seem to abandon them and have them also scrambling for positions like this, and also recognition and representation. What do you say then, would be in the next round of elections? What would it be for the future of persons with disabilities when politicians come to them? Has there been any lessons that have been learned over time? Because every time there's an election, you have persons with disabilities, relating with government and politicians, but after the elections, it seems like they just renege on whatever relationship that they had. Are there lessons that you've learned that you may want to fix or correct in the next round of elections?
Yes, honestly, we've learned so many lessons, because politicians, just like you have mentioned, they will come to us seeking for votes, and we will vote them into the seat. But sadly, after they get to the seat, they will sideline us. So I think it's high time for us that whenever they come, we will sit them down. There should be an agreement between us and them. If peradventure this habit continues, we will hold them responsible. We have to cry aloud. We will raise our voice. We will protest. Yes, that is the right thing. We will protest. We will shout. Because just like I said, we will sit at the table. We will make agreement. In fact, a written agreement that what will be our own quota after you win the elections. We will, after we vote them, after everything, and we did not see results, we will protest.
Very well. Have a charter for politicians, and you present to them when they come to you, and,
yes.
and you hold them by that charter and say, this is what we want, you must give us this before, or if you must get our votes. That's very, very interesting, and it's a way to go. Today is the International Day for the Girl Child, and some of the one of the reasons for that is to spotlight some of the challenges that the girl child is has to deal with. But what you want to share with us some of the challenges of women with disabilities in our communities, in our states today as a nation.
Yes, women with disabilities face triple jeopardy. First, as a woman. Second, as a woman with disabilities. Third, the society is not friendly to us, because we face a lot of challenges. We are vulnerable. We are the most vulnerable in the society. First of all, just like I've mentioned earlier, the attitude of the people towards us is alarming. This is one of the barriers, the challenges that we face, the attitudinal barriers. Most people look at the disabilities in us first before looking at our own abilities, which is not supposed to be so. They should first of all look at our abilities. What is she capable of doing? What are the potentials that she carry? You see it first before the disability. And I want to mention it that everybody, no matter who you are, you have one disability or the other. Some disabilities are hidden, and these are the most dangerous disability. It's even better for you to see it physically than the one that is inside of you that you cannot even see it. It kills faster. So attitudinal challenge, institutional challenge is one of it. We have policies in Nigeria, but the implementation is zero. The implementation of such policies are at a zero level. Now, one of these policies are Clause 54 of the Electoral Act, which gives persons with disabilities the right to vote and be voted for. But whenever a person with disabilities is out to contest, people look at him as a nobody. So these policies are not being put in place. Another thing is inaccessibility of the polling units. Some polling units are not accessible at all, and that is what is making some persons with disabilities not to come out and cast their votes. They are being disenfranchised because the polling unit is not accessible, and INEC supposed to make provisions for all these accessibility. There are no braille ballot guide for the visually impaired. There are no magnifying glasses.
The last elections, they had braille ballots, ballots for the visually impaired.
That is what they said, but we didn't see it. Yes, INEC promised us, but most of the polling units did not have all these things. So these are the policies, these are the challenges that women with disabilities face in the country. Yes, and then some buildings, some women with disabilities drop out from school because the buildings are not accessible. So these are one of the challenges that we face in the country.
Well, let's hope that we're able to, take care of some of these challenges and fix this. But then the National Assembly, INEC, everyone that should be on board, Nigerians, like Rose just said, do not first see the disabilities in a person. See them first as human beings who have capacity. And I like something that we used to say before now, there's ability in a disability. So people, Nigerians, this is a call to you. There's a lot. You could hear the emotions in Rose's voice when she was talking about this. There's a lot that we do to persons with disabilities without even knowing. Like sometimes you don't even know it, but you're actually discriminating against them, and that discrimination is something that should never in any way come up. I mean, people should not be discriminated on the basis of their disabilities. There's a lot of things that they can do. Look, like she mentioned, some people have mental disabilities, all right? The disabilities that are not physical, and some of us have them. Also, anybody can become a person with disability overnight. Anybody, anything can happen. So protecting the rights of persons with disability is actually protecting your own rights, because you don't know what's going to happen in the next minute. You could go out this morning, and then you have an accident, and that renders you, what leaves you with some disabilities, a physical disability or physical challenge. So be very careful how you trample on the rights of persons with disabilities, because you just may be trampling on your own rights. Stay with us. The conversation continues. We're talking more with Rose Daniel from Citizen Foundation. She's the project officer for the disability inclusion in governance. She's talking with us this morning. We'll be talking some more. Stay here.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja. It's the Tiva Jeans Carnival. Yes, the Teens and Youth Ministry of Christ Embassy Abuja Zone proudly presents Tiva Jeans Carnival with Pastor Dipo Fisher.
This carnival will stimulate, refreshen and rebuild your relationship with God.
Don't miss the Tiva Jeans Carnival if you are a young person living in or near Abuja on Saturday, October 21, 2023, starting at noon at the Velodrome, National Stadium, Abuja.
It will be spiritually exciting, fulfilling and soul lifting.
The Tiva Jeans Carnival, there is nothing like it.
Experience inspiring discussions, heart-pounding music and dance like never before.
Don't miss out on the Tiva Jeans Carnival. Mark your calendars and spread the word. See you there, and God bless you.
Christ Embassy, giving your life a meaning. Powered by Christ Embassy Abuja Zone.
Lotto don come come chop better prices every day with only 100 naira. I know they want you. Every day people get chance to win bone straight hair, iPhones, Samsung phone unko, iPad, laptops, TV and many orishirishi them for 100 naira. Nkechi, where you dey? Yetunde, where that your 100 naira change? Oga Yanga don come Yanga Lotto don land with just 100 naira. If fit be you play Yanga Lotto today. Yanga Lotto, do Yanga.
Oga Yanga madam, make we do the Yanga. Like say we chop in Maka, brother waiting with the matter. Won't you make it Yanga Lotto, Yanga Lotto, let's come chop it Yanga.
Please listen to this announcement. A reputable media house is looking for experienced media marketers with excellent command of English and a minimum experience of 3 years. Interested applicants should call 080-5919-8658. That is 080-5919-8658. Thank you.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja. Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
People feel women with disabilities are not capable enough. Like we cannot do it. Normally, women are going through this struggle to be at the top, let alone those with disability. So you can see the imbalance in this by not being given the chance to prove ourselves, to prove our worth, that we can do it. Right now, women stand at women with disabilities stand at zero representation in governance. Like no woman with disability at all has been elected or appointed into public offices, whether in the state level or in the
federal level.
This has been my concern so far.
Very well. Because I was going to take us to states, because it seems like a lot of times we pay attention to the federal level and leaving out the states, where there's a lot of people with disabilities at state levels that are never even in the local governments that never get included and never recognized. Nothing is done to to see that they are carried along in governance. What are the moves that persons with disabilities are making at state levels to see that they are also included? Rosie, you want to answer that?
Yes, I think we do a lot of advocacy, both from the federal government level, state level, and the local government level. We advocate. We pay courtesy visits to National Human Rights Commission, to INEC offices, to National Assembly. We do organize a focus group discussion and invite them to come. Let's rub minds together and look for a way out of this menace. Yes, so these are one of the things that we do.
That brings me to ask about the Disability Act in Nigeria, how well have we been able to domesticate the act and implement? It's not enough. We say we have a lot of laws in this country, but we do not really implement them. How well have we been able to implement that act in the country?
Yeah, the implementation is so poor, because the Disability Act Section 30 made a provision that 5% quota should be given to persons with disabilities when there is a chance for employment or any other government agenda. That 5% quota should be given to us, but it's not, that is not implemented at all. So the implementation is very poor. And then the buildings, even some government buildings are not accessible. I don't want to start mentioning the offices, but I just want to let them know that by next year we will start suing them if at all there are no ramps, no accessibility. A woman with disability on a wheelchair has to be carried up to the buildings. We will sue them. So these are the things that are contained in the Disability Act, and the implementation is poor.
Okay, Amaka, go.
Okay, and also the government has to sit up. It's not just all about formulating policies and doing nothing about it. They have to sit up and give us the backing, the power that we need. Because like I said earlier, the stigmatization, we are being marginalized a lot. People look down on us. So just saying, okay, we formulated a policy for persons with disability is not going to be enough. They have to sit up to implement it, ensure that buildings are accessible, and formulate laws that will sanction those that are going against these policies.
Very well. Let's bring in callers. Our callers have been itching to join the conversation. Joining now, call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. That is 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Make those calls in as quick as possible so that we can take them up and wrap up the conversation shortly. You can also send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 090-9705-4450. That is 090-9705-4450. Let's bring in this. Okay, seems like we lost connection with this one. Try to call back. Okay, this one is here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning, Elder Noja. Good to have you join us. Appreciate you, sir.
Your line is very hot in the morning. Every morning,
what can we do? We are going to the permanent site, sir.
They give you more hour now.
All right, we'll try.
People calling you.
All right.
At least they put 2 hours. Please.
Okay, Elder Noja. Thank you very much. Go ahead. Let's hear you. Ami, thank you.
Those my sister, I'm getting them. You see, he are fighting for disabled people. I myself, I worry about them. You see, all this walkover, where you call overhead bridge, walkover. There's no place for a disabled person to pass. And then they can't check. Go to any walkover. You go to any walkover now. Somebody has to carry them before you cross them. They're supposed to have rail. You know, but see, they have electric edition for disabled people, where they can cross one place to another place. And then most of the high building in Abuja here, there's no access for disabled people. You see, going to court alone is not going to solve the problem. You people have to go and protest. Don't places, protest with that place, occupy that place. Let them hear you, and then they will do it in time. More than to go to court. If you go to court, they will drag the case for 20 years. You know the system of our court. the millennial pay the best. And then once you don't have form to hire the best lawyer in Nigeria, the next thing they'll bullshit you, they'll continue adjusting the case. I advise people who go on protest. Protest, you have right to protest. Occupy those offices. Occupy the Federal Ministry of Work. Or those work over. They will put assets where the disabled person pass. If we continue the protest like that, they will do it.
Right.
Take more than to go to court.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you, Elder Noja, for your contribution. Fantastic idea there. So go occupy the offices and all. We're going to be talking more. Let's talk now. Okay, so there's another caller. Seems like the callers are not allowed. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Igenacho.
Good morning, BB Blessing. Welcome.
How are you today? I greet my
well.
sister in the studio. God will bless her for the voice of women. My name is BB Blessing. I already beg. Anything where government is doing, make they carry woman along. Especially our president. Make they hear woman voice. If a woman they contribute for Nigeria where we dey today, Nigeria will move forward. Because when we want to complain now, we say our president's wife. See what they happen for Nigeria. See what they happen for women. They say we no vote for her now. The president we vote for. Why is it be like that? Please, I want to beg president. The coming election where is coming. If a man be president, may woman be second advisor of the president. Make them put her like that. Because if this is day wrong, woman go able to call attention. Say, sir, you're not supposed to be like this. Let us do it like this. When last you choose men, this will continue to be men. If woman dey mingle with men, this will go work well. Please, if they can listen for us, make they give woman position to partaker for Nigeria so that Nigeria go better. Issue of kidnapping, if a woman dey among, all this will stop. Issue of organ, if a woman speak out, the issue of organ will stop. Issue of refinery. Please look at our students now. They kidnap them. Nobody can come out. They say na men dey there. Please, may we voice our voice now. May our president, our senator, may they listen for us, may they listen for women, may they carry women along. We are the mother of children. Bless you. God bless Nigeria.
God bless you, BB Blessing. And we have the big one joining us. It seems like we'll just wait for the last moments for the blessings to crown us with it. Lois Bono Atal is joining us this morning. She is the founder, Citizen Foundation, joining us in this conversation last minute. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Lois. Good to see you again. It's been many years.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm so glad to see you.
Happy to see you again.
Yes. Let's quickly talk. So I've been talking with Rose and Amaka here. They've been able to, air their concerns as regards, women with disabilities in governance. I know that you're one person that I'm very, Rose had mentioned you earlier in the conversation and said, Lois had contested elections. There's no way you can talk about capacity and not talk about someone like Lois. You're one person who we know, has been there in the forefront of these campaigns, fighting to see that persons with disabilities, not just women now, but persons with disabilities are, included in governance. How's it been for you? Tell us your story. You've contested 2 elections now.
Yeah, it has been a platform for good moments and bad moments. In 2019, I ran for the position of House of Representatives here in the FCT with a lot of factors that tried to stop me. Is it ethnicity, religion, gender, being a woman and a woman with disability, and the barriers that are stopping me? And these barriers could be infrastructural, it could be institutional, it could be attitudinal. I'll never forget when we were doing a live interview just like this one on the radio station with 2 male counterparts that were running for the same position. And someone called in and said, yes, he had faith in the 2 men, but for me, I should go home and sleep. Why?
How did that make you feel?
Because I'm a woman, and I'm a woman with disabilities because of the patriarchal system. That gave him the gust to say that. I felt bad. I felt and discouraged, but I have the audacity and the courage to say this moment I will never stop until I win. Because we need someone out there, we need a voice, we need an influencer to be able to influence policies that will benefit girls with disabilities. Today is International Day of the Girl. What is government putting in place for girls with disabilities? These girls need to go to school. They need to enjoy equal health opportunities. They need to have access to healthcare facilities, and they also need to be engaged when it is time for them to be employed after graduating from schools. What are these issues that we're trying to put in place? And when we talk about my experience in 2019, yes, I lost the vote, but I have won the process because the number of women with disabilities that ran in 2019 has increased in 2022. So God used me to break records, made history as the first woman with disability that ran with 4,080 candidates. Yes, Bagi people discouraged me that I should go to my state in Kaduna State and run. So in 2022, I decided to go to Kaduna State. Well, getting the form and doing all the consultations, someone looked at me and said, Lois, we married you out to Akwa Ibom State. What are you doing here? So you could see the diversity. You could see the factors that are affecting women and girls when it comes to good governance or inclusive governance. And we want to cry with a loud voice to our policymakers that they should engage everyone on the implementation of the 5% reservation of every opportunity. We want to see inclusivity in every agenda. Our ministers, some of them are doing well. We need to remind them that they should implement 5% of opportunities for persons with disabilities, especially women and girls.
Very well said. Very well said. I hope that they're listening and they're able to take. It's really unfortunate our clock is in the ceiling. We'd have to wrap this up now. But one more question to you. In areas of you mentioned employment opportunities for women with disabilities. In fact, people with disabilities in general have found it difficult to be gainfully employed in the country. Now, what is this community, the persons with disabilities community, doing to hold government accountable? At this point, we have zero representation in governance for especially women with disabilities. What are we doing? What is the community doing to ensure that there's that representation?
Yes, the community has been talking about this. We have been advocating, engaging with all the key actors and relevant stakeholders. And one of them is you. You are playing your role right now to give us the space to talk about our issues. We need the media to pass out the message out there for the key actors to be reminded of how important and significant inclusion is to persons with disabilities. Another one is Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and Planning. They need to reserve a budget line for National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. Yes, the Act provided the establishment of National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, and they have been doing their best, but they lack the resources. So, Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and Planning, they need to engage National Commission for Persons with Disabilities because that's where our affairs are managed. Another one is National Assembly should set up a task force that will start going from sector to sector to make sure that there is compliance on the Nigerian Disability Act. 2024 is just by the corner, and that's when the timeline for the transition period of the Nigerian Disability Act, which is 5 years,
5 years,
will elapse. And nothing to write home about. We have money in the banks, we don't have access to it independently. When a person like me in a wheelchair gets to the bank, is either I stay outside in the car and be attended to, or we have issues. We exchange word with the bankers because they tell you there's no access for you. But for me, I will never be attended outside. I told them I can't keep my money in the bank and be attended outside. So most times when I go, they open the back door for me to go in. So persons with disabilities need to know their rights and also hold government accountable about their rights. They need to keep reminding government about these policies that we have and how it will be implemented.
Very well said. It's just going to be, taking your last lines. There's many more questions I would have wanted to, ask and, have this conversation with you longer, but the time would not allow for it. But I hope that we have you some other time coming to, discuss more on some of the challenges that persons with disabilities face, especially women with disabilities. And I hope that you also make an appointment as soon as possible. I hope that you make an appointment. The last dispensation or last administration, we had an SSA also to the president on disability matters, and I hope that you make that cut this time around. Thank you so much for coming in, Alois Alta.
For giving us the platform.
Appreciate you. Amaka, thank you so much for being here. Rose, thank you very, very much. It's been a very robust conversation with you this morning. Thank you. And people, Nigerians, do not discriminate against persons with disabilities. We say that here all the time. Respect the rights of persons with disabilities, because you never know. You just might be protecting your own rights. You just might be protecting or respecting your own rights. No one knows what can happen tomorrow. Anyone can become a person with disability. So do well to look out for people with disabilities. Employ them. Do not pity them. Give them what they deserve. Give them what they merit. Okay. We're all citizens